I welcome you to India,
Thank you.
and it's your first time.
Yeah, it's the first time I've been here. It's a glorious place. It's a very eclectic place and a very enjoyable place to be.
Surely, I mean, it's a springtime here in India, so purely golfing season. I just want to check up with you. I mean, what was your impression before you landed in India about the golfing field in India?
Well, I didn't know a lot about the scene really, so all you can do is make an educated guess, and you would say that it would be kind of embryonic, right? It's quite a new sport because traditionally and historically it's been the kind of sport of the wealthy. So I would have thought that there's not a lot of massive people playing the game, and it would be pretty old-fashioned as well, was my thought coming in. But I leave with the opposite thought, which I'm pleased to say. I leave with the fact that it's a mass market sport. I leave with the fact it's extremely healthy here. The amount of people playing the game here, especially young kids and especially girls, I'm pleased to say, is remarkable. And it's really, really warms my heart to know that so many people are taking this great game up. Secondly, it's not as archaic as I thought it would be. You guys have put some great programs together. You've got a great tour in Albatross. You're doing some good stuff at your golf academies. There's some modern techniques being employed. You're kind of getting it on the back of TPI. You're starting to understand how things work a little better. So, I think it's really keeping up with a lot of developing countries. I think obviously there's some way to go to match America and match what some of the stuff that we're doing over there, but it really is shifting in the right direction, I think, is the point. And but from a health perspective, I think it's extremely vibrant and quite reflective of the society as well. It's a vibrant place and a vibrant society, and the golf scene kind of reflects that.
That's very motivating words for Indians. Another thing I wanted to ask you, having coached like a player like Michael Campbell and prior to his brilliant US Open win, how is it that when you coach a player, how do you see the potential of that kind?
Well, I think if you refer, when you look at tour players, it's actually a very difficult job taking a professional player who is already a good player, an established player, and making them better. It's quite a difficult job because it's one of those jobs where you can take it on, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can make them worse very quickly. You're messing with people's careers. So when you're on tour, there's some great players on tour, obviously, and I specialise in enhancing great players and making them even better by just looking for little things that they can improve all the way along the line. You might get 10% better in your putting, 15% better here, 20% better with your driving, 14% better mentally, and it adds up to a big package. And then you form a partnership, and I've got an ability in what I do, they've got an ability in what they do. When you mesh those together, then you get better performance out of it. But from a kid's perspective, I think the message I want to leave here is that young kids particularly, you've got to really focus, and what we focus on at the Academy is the process rather than the outcome. I think there's too many people really focused on, okay, my score has to be this, my score has to be that, it's not about score. We never talk about score at the Academy. If you focus on your process, the score takes care of itself. Golf by its nature is a game of failure, unfortunately.
Okay.
So you've got to be able to deal with failure. You're not going to win every time, but you can learn lessons each time, and you can improve each time, and eventually you'll get all the tools you need. So at a young age, the kid who's best at 15 years old is not necessarily the best at 18 years old. Because what you've got to do is develop skill. Some kids are bigger, some are smaller, some are faster, some are stronger. That's the separating factor at a young age. What I think people need to focus on is developing skill, improving skill, mastering skill, and transferring skill. You focus on those things, the outcome will take care of itself. And don't link your self-esteem or your love as a parent or the kid's self-esteem to their golf score. That's a big mistake. You have to be a happy, free-going person, accept that golf's difficult, golf's fickle. The difference between shooting 85 and 75 could be a couple of bad bounces here and there. It's a fickle game. Sometimes if you're just linked to your score, you can walk off the course having shot 80 and miss the fact that you played 14 holes like a tour player, right? So, think about process, not outcome, is the overriding message.
Heading a an academy like Ijga, one of the best in the world. I mean, how do you see coaching a junior being different from coaching a tour player or a big amateur?
I don't. It's as simple as that. I coach the players at IJGA, and my team coach the players at IJGA the same as a tour player. They go through a very similar program. They're treated just the same. They're what I call golf athletes. So we go through an assessment period first of all in the first week, so we assess where their game is without any coach input whatsoever. Based on that assessment and on those facts, we then create a blueprint or a roadmap for each individual. So I think golf traditionally has been, kind of based on intellectual property and opinion. But we don't do that. We base it on fact, not opinion. So we have a very fact-driven and a very evidential kind of approach to what we do. So once we've had this assessment, then we do what's called the blueprinting, and that's the roadmap that everyone follows to make each individual the best they can be. So to answer your question, I don't treat them any differently. We give them a tour quality short game at an early age. I've coached at the Masters 11 times, the US Open 16 times. So at those tournaments, you have to really have a precise short game. You can't afford to miss-hit the ball by even 500 RPM in a chip, for example, because that's the difference between hitting it off the green or really in a great one. So we give them a tour quality short game where they can hit the same landing spot with 9 different spins and not miss-hit it in a chip, for example, because you've got to be creative at the higher level. They start tucking the pins, the lies get tighter, the greens get a lot harder and faster. You have to be more precise. So, we expose the kids at an early age to this development, which is a tour player development, essentially. They use technology like TrackMan, 3D, force plate technology, which is the latest thing, video, all sorts of stuff. So we create some technical competence. But in my view, and at our academy, golf is as I said in the newspaper here, it's a problem-solving game in an ever-changing environment. That's what golf is.
That's a lovely phrase.
Yeah. So as a result, you can't just be technical. You can't rely on TrackMan or technology, because golf's not played like that. Golf's played on an unlevel lie, into the wind, with this happening and this happening. You have to problem solve. So what we do is we blend the science and the facts with art. And if you blend the science and the facts with art, you're going to get a creative, artistic, technically sound player who you could call a tour player pretty much. These guys are shooting some great scores like 63s and stuff like that at our academy now. And as I say, if I have Michael Campbell coming in, Alex Checker, whoever I'm working with coming in, I don't think, I treat this guy differently to the juniors that we got there. It's the same thought, same theme, same building, and the same blueprinting.
Well, another thing I am so eager to ask you, and that's a question like as a parent I would ask. The moment you say that results are not that significant, it's the overall development of the skill. Now, as a parent, I'm only looking at the results of my kid. That what's the result? So what's the message you would like to give it to the parents in general?
The results will take care of themselves if you follow the process, right? But if your focus is the results, you don't do the process to get there, right? That's the point. It's like you're focusing on the wrong end. You're putting the cart before the horse instead of the horse before the cart, right? So, you've really got to think about, okay, what skills do I need to shoot those good scores? And don't get me wrong, scoring's important. At the end of the day, it's how you're measured, right? That's how you're measured. That is how you're measured at the end of the day. But if that's your focus, there's too much emphasis on outcome. You will not follow your process, and you will not be allowed to fail. Failure is a part of learning. It's a big part of golf learning, I can tell you now. The best players in the world win once a year, twice a year maybe. So you have to accept failure and learn from it and improve as a player to become a robust golfer. We have kids winning 6, 7, 8 times a year, but whether they do or they don't, they're following the same process, So my message to parents would be to, nurture and love your kids no matter what. Don't base your self-esteem or your love for your child on their golf results. If they're not getting the results you want, look in the process to see what's going wrong. Have they got no ball control? Is their driver going off to the right? In which case, you have a technical lesson to straighten it up. That's the process. It's not, make sure you hit the fairways. No, let me have a technical lesson to make sure I hit the fairway. If I've lost ball control, is that what's affecting the outcome? Or is their chipping poor and non-creative? Is that what's affecting the outcome? So the process would then be, okay, I need to improve the chipping, then I need to get artistic, then I need it to be world class, and then the result will take care of itself again. Is their putting poor? Are they having 35 putts every time they play? Okay, okay, I need to improve that. Let me get on Sam Putt Lab and see what's going on. Let me then fix it up. Let me get some ball control. Let me work on my speed control. Let me do some drills that simulate pressure. Now all of a sudden in practice you're ready to go and play. You've built the bridge from the range or the practice tee to the course, and away you go. I think a lot of the practice that's done, especially that I've seen here, which is the one thing I think they really need to improve, is they do a lot of machine gun practice. You know, so there's a pile of balls and it's just bang, 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 bang. Listen, that's the wrong way to practice. We do that 10% of the time, and we only do it when we're working on something technically. Remember at the start I alluded to the fact that golf is a problem-solving game in an ever-changing environment. Well, you can practice just going bang, bang, bang. That's not problem-solving, and that's not a changing environment. So you do a little bit of, that's called block practice, just a little bit to get technical competence correct. But then you change how you practice. You build the bridge from the practice tee to the golf course by altering how you practice. So let's say, for example, today I did a chipping thing with the guys, some of the kids here. We did some technical work to get their chipping good, and then we finished the technical work, and then we had 8 balls. We put them in a line away from the green. They had to hit each ball into a circle with a different club from each ball. They had to do 4 out of 8 in that thing, and if they did it in 3 attempts, they did not have to do any push-ups or any penalty. If they did, they did. So they've gone from technical competence to technical skill mastery and skill transfer and pressure in training. So then when they go and play, they're prepared for all the things you need to play. Whereas traditionally, and I think a lot of what I've seen here during my visit, is it's the old-fashioned way to practice only. And we know scientifically that that is not how you transfer skills.
Overall, what I see when I see your academy, Ijga, and the way you do things, it's quite a technologically driven and it's a scientific way.
Yeah. Well, partially.
But if you depend totally as a player, if I like start looking at my TrackMan numbers with every shot, I mean, is it beneficially a junior player like buying his own TrackMan machine?
No, not at all. Technology has got a time and a place, right? It's used for the coach to make an informed choice, that's all. So they can make an informed choice, not an opinion. We use it sparingly, actually. It's got a time and a place. As I said at the start, golf is part science and it's part art. So standing there trying to technically perfect something is wrong. You've got to have some technical competence. You don't need a TrackMan. It's great to have, but you don't need one. A lot of the great players in the past didn't have one. It helps, definitely. It helps. It helps me because I can see stuff I can't see with my eye. So based on those numbers, I can then make an informed choice as to what this guy needs to do rather than an opinion. But all technology has got a time and a place. And in our program, we rotate through that time and place. So we have a technical week, a blending week where we don't use technology at all. Then we have a playing week where we have absolutely no technology, no video, very little coach input, because we're trying to get independent golfers, not dependent. You don't want to over-coach people. You can coach the flair out of people if you're not careful. So we do some technical work there, non-technical work there, some artistic work there, and then at the end, which is really important, we have rest and evaluation. Rest is really important, just having some time off, regrouping, resting your mind, resting your body, resting everything, so you've got more energy to attack the next time that you go back through the cycle. We also do, again, very fact-based, we do a stats program. It's called Shots to Hole. So we put all the stats in during a rest time, and from those stats, we can then see what's weak and what we need to work on with each individual, so we can tailor-made the program to make them stronger in all the areas that they're weak. So it's a very personalized thing, and as I said to you, don't get me wrong, technology is great, but it can be a poison chalice as well. You've got to use it sparingly and you've got to use it intelligently. And the answer is not in a TrackMan. The answer is in being an artistic player.
I got it. Like if I have a blood pressure machine, I don't need to measure my blood pressure every 10 minutes.
Exactly.
I mean,
There's a
it's
time
for
and a
my
place.
doctor to do that.
There's a time and a place for it. Simple as that.
I got it. I think that's the amazing use of a technology. And thank you once
Pleasure.
again for being here.
No, I've enjoyed
pleasure.
being here. Thank you for your hospitality. It's a great country, and I've really enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.